a long ride trying to learn AI from ground up, literally from the very basics up to right now. And we are the AI tools engineers actually use. So thank you so much all for joining. I know it's hectic. Every Saturday we join here to learn, and it's not all in vain. So you need to use your spare time at your own time to check in what the speakers have told us. And today we have three amazing speakers. Um, one of them is Enzo. I yeah, I'm not really sure how to pronounce your second name because the
Enzo
first
Conti.
instance I always read it as County instead of Conti. Is it Conti?
It both are right. Don't worry.
Both are right. Yeah. So we have Enzo. He's gonna take us through AI tools for AI skeptics. This is actually an interesting talk that I'm also interested to know because I was one of the AI skeptics. So I'm really prepared to learn as well. And then I would be the second speaker to talk about rapid user interface prototyping with Google Stitch. So this is a corner for us to try to make some designs from scratch, especially as developers. If you don't have the UI UX skills, Google Stitch would be your go-to platform. And then Immaculate, who is also finally here, she's gonna take us through supercharging your workflow and building with AI-powered IDEs, which is also really interesting. And I'm really curious to learn about these as well. So thank you so much all for joining. You could be somewhere else, but you chose to be with us today. So one rule is if you have a question, feel free to write it on the chat or feel free to raise your hand and ask the speaker. Otherwise, we'd share all the resources at the end of the session, including the important links and the recording. So don't hesitate to ask any questions if you have. And this is the moment now. I'd hand over to you, Enzo, to take it over.
All right, no issues. I'll take the share screen so I can share my slides. Yep. Sorry, I'm not on my usual setup, so give me a second. All right. Zoop. All right, you should be able to see my screen if I'm not mistaken. Can
Yes, we
you?
can see it.
All
Yeah.
right, perfect. So yeah, nice to meet you all. Thank you for spending a Saturday to listen to me mumbling about AI. And today I'm going to speak about AI tools for AI skeptics. So quick introduction for me. So who am I? My name is Enzo Conti. I'm a CTO in a company called EasyMob. It's based in Paris, and we do guidance systems for handicapped people. So a lot of things with Google Maps and different guidance systems. And I'm also a GGG and a Flutter meetup organizer in Bordeaux, it's in the southwest of France, where I'm based. And I'm also a GD in Flutter and Dart, like Maureen, and maybe something else. I don't know. Not Maureen, but I don't know. See, yeah, everybody else on the call. And you can find me, of course, in my socials. So it's a Black Basic in GitHub, and it's like basically just my name and my last name on X, and also on LinkedIn if you want to join me on LinkedIn. If you have any question before the end of the show, you can ask them here. But if you have a question after, or maybe you have a question in a week or a month, or whenever you feel like, don't hesitate to reach me on my social and ask questions. I'm always available. So yeah, so. Just a quick reminder, I say I'm a GTE and a GTE, so it means that I'm kind of affiliated with Google. But I just want to just say something is that I'm going to present multiple tools in the presentation, but I am a Google developer expert, but I'm not an evangelist and I'm not a salesman. I'm going to present some tools from Google, I'm going to present some tools from other companies. I just want to say it's just my opinion. Nobody told me, yeah, you have to think about this tool or you have to say good thing about this. Yeah, just it's just my opinion. Nobody pushed me to do any of the slide. All the slides have been made by me. Nobody check it up on it, and yeah, it's just my honest opinion. So yeah. let's get right into it. As maybe of you may be wondering, okay, this guy is an AI skeptic, or at least I'm considering myself an AI skeptic, but doesn't mean that he's not using AI at all. No, it's not true. So if you're curious about it, I use basically daily or almost daily Cursor and Cloud Pro, Cloud Code Pro. I think like it's a tool that are very fairly famous. If you don't know, Cursor is basically just an IDE, like a kind of clone of VS Code, and with integration of AI, you have like a agentic mod and stuff like this with it. And Cloud Code, I think. I'm going to present it because probably everybody knows about it, but it's just basically an agentic LLM that you can query and like having like modify your code base and stuff like this, and you have skills and whatever, a lot of things. So I'm not going to do it because we can have like a whole session onto these tools, but this is what I use daily. So if you're wondering what I use these tools, but there's other tools that I want to speak about, and before that I'm going to just present the agenda that we have for today. So I'm going to speak firstly about the fact that I'm considering myself an AI skeptic. So what is exactly my problem with AI today? Why I feel like I'm an AI skeptic? Then secondly, we're going to speak about what I do and what I recommend to do with AI and what I absolutely don't recommend to do with AI. And I will give a few examples on what to do. And insert, we'll see like a few tools recommendations, so tools that I've said, maybe affiliated with Google, maybe not, and takeaways about what you should probably do or not do with AI. So let's get into it. And in first, I will say what's my problem with AI and why I consider myself an AI skeptic. So if I look at basically all the what's happening on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and just in general with the AI era, there's two different kind of realities or two faces of the same coins. The hype that you can see maybe on Twitter, you can maybe see it on LinkedIn, you can see it like through videos on YouTube. You have like the same talk. It's always people saying like, oh, AI will replace all the developers. LLMs are going to write entire apps and code exactly the future. You don't actually need to code anything nowadays. You just describe what you want, describe a feature, and you ship it. And the reality is, it's definitely something really different, because the reality is that actually developers are still very essential. We are actually needed as developers. AI make a lot of mistake and hallucination. For very simple query, everything is fine. Whenever you go into complex business logic or stuff like this, it's a whole different story, and it has some trouble. Even with the newest model, you can use like, I don't know, Opus 4.8 millions token context or whatever. It does not change the fact that it does not comprehend the whole business logic that you're trying to integrate. And as I say, like the domain expertise or the business logic, it still matters. There's still a lot of different places where it's very different. To give you an example, as I said, I'm working on a company where we're doing like guidance systems for handicapped people, but we are not like just making like guidance systems for blind people or just for people in a wheelchair. We do for all of them. So it's different kind of interface with different kind of problematic, different kind of solutions for each profile. Maybe somebody who is blind is not going to have the same issues as someone who is in a wheelchair, of course. And so this is a domain expertise that I deal with in my job. And if you trying to say, okay, we're trying to do these kind of issues, we have these issues, and we're going to try to solve it this way, it's going to solve it maybe for one profile, but it's never going to solve it for all the profiles that we have in our apps. In our apps, currently we have like 7 different profiles. We have cognitive profile, we have like people in a wheelchair, we have people who are, we have cognitive disabilities, we have a lot of different kind of profile, and AI is not able to comprehend the whole business logic of what we're trying to do. So the reality is very different from what the hype say. Another thing which is very important to know is that in this utopia of a world that people are trying to solve us, is that they say that the work of a developer, the work that will be of a developer, will just be of reviewing peer and monitoring token usage. So what I mean by that is like you will not be coding anymore. The AI will code for you, and you will just like review what the AI say, and you're like, okay, the AI did this, whatever. Okay, it looks fine, and you will check about the usage of token that you have, and there will be no more challenges because like you will not make any code yourself. The AI will make the code yourself. You just have to explain what the challenge is, but you are not solving the challenge yourself. And because you're not solving the challenge, you don't have any excitement from a big win. I don't know from all of you guys, but a few years back, I was like super happy when I've solved like a problem that was like a week ago, like a week old problem. And maybe there was like this issue with an UI or maybe an issue with, I don't know, some business logic. And when I solved it, I feel like this really ecstatic moment where I feel like a very big win, and I was like, oh wow, I made it. And that was for me like the biggest gratification of my job. And so in this utopia that they are trying to solve us again, there is no more big wins, there is no more challenges, and the whole job of a developer is just to reviewing PR. And I feel like it's not fun at all. It's not the job that I signed for. It's not the job that I actually want to do anymore. And yeah, I don't want to sound like a boomer, but I'm actually also a little bit worried. Why am I worried? Is it's basically that newer generation of developers depend way too much on LLMs, and they do not learn the fundamentals. What I mean by that is like a few months back, I went back to my school where I've actually learned programming, and I've talked with the director of the school who is still there, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, but you know, like you learn all of this by yourself, and we learn Linux, we learn C languages, we learn a lot of stuff. We were checking Stack Overflow, we were checking like man pages. I don't know if all of you know about this or not, but we're learning like fundamentals basically, and nowadays people don't do that anymore. People, newer generation of developers, they just basically just going through AI, asking question, and if they have the answer, it's great. And if they don't have the answers, they're just getting stuck, and they don't have the fundamentals of checking documentation, pages, and stuff like this. So yeah, I don't know if there is a question. Should we take them right now, or should we take them like after? I don't know who's raised their hand. I only have one screen, so is there like any issue? Maybe you don't hear me correctly. I don't know what's going on. All right, I think it's just like, yeah, it's just so, I mean like for organizing logistic. So I will go back to my slide. Don't hesitate if you don't hear me correctly. I'm sorry, I'm some kind of balcony right now. So if you hear wind or something, don't hesitate to tell me if you don't hear me correctly. So yeah, following on our presentation, I want to tell you what I recommend to do and don't do with AI. And for that, I will demonstrate by showing you these little images that are basically describing the cycle of any development of an app, but it can be for any product, basically. So in a traditional, or when I say traditional, I mean like before ChatGPT and before AI and the AI era in general, we had this traditional life cycle of the development of an app. So we had an idea, we write the specs, we create wireframe on Figma or anything, then we create the code, then we have a product, so an app or website or whatever you actually trying to do. Then you ask feedback. It can be internal feedback, can be feedback from users, can be any kind of feedback. Then you go back to the spec because the feedback make you realize that you need to make some change, and you go back and you make a new wireframe, etc., etc., etc. And you just basically do this cycle forever until you are satisfied with the project that you have. And now with Gen AI or in general LLMs, you have this very different circle where you have an ID, you prompt it to any LLM, you code, and by code I mean it's either you implement what the AI said or you basically let the AI code for you. So it's very optional. So you could not code at all. Then you have a product. So you have a website again, or an application or any product. Then you get feedback, but again, the feedback can be the AI itself. Then the AI remake again the code, and basically the only thing you have to do is basically only prompting. And I think it's not good. It's not good for a lot of reasons. The different kind of reasons that you should never use AI for are basically security and outflow. I've seen way too many people using AI to make like actually keychain biometrics, double OAuth or stuff like this. And the issue is that, again, if you make only one little mistake, the AI make one little mistake, and you expose the whole user data. It's in Europe at least, there's whole GDPR issues, and you can have sanction with fees. You can have like it's up to 45,000 euros to pay if you have like users data that are leaking out of your application. So what I would say is like basically, whenever your app require any kind of outflow or security flow, you should write it yourself, or at least you should be very cautious about what you write, and don't let AI write it for you. You should always like supervise what the AI writes and be very cautious on basically what the AI is going to create for you, and don't let just the AI write it for you and like never watching what's happening there. You also have architecture. Because like architecture is like super important, and you should never let the AI choose the kind of architecture you want for your product. Because having for example, on a Flutter, we use Flutter a lot in the companies that I work for, and we always have like this thing where whenever you prompt AI to make any kind of architecture, it will always make clean architecture, which is a very nice architecture, but it's not needed in depending on how much user you have and depending on the culture you have in your company. You don't especially need the same architecture all the time. For small packages, you don't need to have clean architecture all the time. It's very important, because whenever you have a clear architecture and you know what you create, you have a patterns. For example, if you use MVVM or stuff like this, it's very easy for AI to understand what architecture is, and it knows how to replicate this architecture. But it's also complicated, because AI tend to forget the architecture because it's only having like a context windows of, I don't know, 1 million tokens, like stuff like this. And you cannot create a complex architecture from scratch again. So if you need to create all the repositories, all the data layers, all the models, stuff like this, it's something that the AI get very confused to very easily. Even though that they tend to get better at it, it's still a pain point. So in my opinion, you should never use AI for architecture again. Just try to write it yourself, or at least try at the beginning to write it yourself. If you want to use AI later on and say, oh yeah, I have this feature with this architecture, and I want the same architecture for another feature that I'm trying to create, you can do like this. But you should never like just say, oh yeah, I want to create this app, and it should have just data layers and stuff like this, and let it do by itself, because it's going to just create a mess this way. Another thing can be like very, I mean, that make a lot of sense for me at least, that you should never let AI create payment and billing integration. I've seen a horrible thing with Revenue Cat and store subscription, where basically you could have like wrong pricing, or you could have like actually, if you let AI actually make the store subscription by yourself, you could actually have users that pay but not for your app, and actually pay other apps because the token is wrong or stuff like this. So you should always be very careful of what you are implementing. Yeah, because like again, if AI make a mistake here, you are paying for it because you are losing money, because it's payment, and it's also very embarrassing to tell the users, oh yeah, actually you paid for some product, but it was not ours because like, I put it the app. So yeah, in my opinion, you absolutely can't use AI for payment and billing integration. Then, depending on what your app is, you might very care about performance. Maybe you have a very performance based application, and you should always be very careful what the AI is saying, because sometimes you will have this issue with performance, and you will prompt like saying, oh, I have this issue with, I don't know, this kind of component on my application. But it will it will try to solve a problem, but it will maybe complexify the code base, and it will probably not fix the real issues that could be maybe, I don't know, some parent component and stuff like this, and it will not be aware of it. So you should be very careful on how to use AI for performance. In my opinion, it's always something that a human should like really care about. So I'm telling you all about what I think should be very important, but I will give you a concrete example on what not to do in my opinion. So, do any of you guys know this app called Thea? It's an app made in the US by a single developer, and the point of the app, and I'm going to describe it very quickly because it's not the whole point, but it's just interesting on how it's happened. So the point of the whole app is basically for women in the US to be able to make comments on dating guys. Basically, they will dating people, and they will say, "Oh yeah, this guy, red flag. He's not very gentle with women or whatever they're saying." But the issue is that because it's an application made for women, like the user base is 100% has to be women. They were requiring that all the users, so all the women, were able to show the ID card, and they had to take picture of the ID card and selfie, and they will send it to the application, and then after they will be like approved, and they will be having access to the application. The issue is again the person vibe coded the whole app and make no change for that, and every data that was uploaded on the app, so selfies and videos and photos of the ID cards and different kind of verification they had, it was all public on some buckets, S3 buckets from, so it's basically storage space, but public storage space. And it bring a lot of issues because after that, a lot of people got their identity stolen. And there was like people in the US who got the identity stolen again, but it's even worse than that because like some people actually took credits and loans at the bank with a fake identity that they actually stolen. So there's people who just by registering this app actually have a very big legal problem nowadays because the identity got stolen, they have a loan to pay that they never see the money for. So it's a whole different kind of problem. But now that I explained what the problem with AI, I will tell you what actually you should use AI for. So again, you should like whenever you use AI, you should just verify every output. So just in general, read the code, run it, test, educate yourself. You should never just trust the AI 100%. But I think like that's something that's very normal. So then again, like stay in your domain. AI is a faster search engine, but it's not replacement for your expertise. So again, like if you have a very complex domain case wherever you will have like a different kind of logic or business logic, you are the person who know your business logic. The AI is like a very generic tool, so they don't know your use case. They don't know what you're trying to achieve. So you should be very worried about it, and you should be caring about what your domain is. Then again, use it for acceleration, but just be careful with it. Boilerplate, regex, documentation, unit test stub is very good for all of that, but it's basically consuming task. It's like time-consuming task, but it's not very things that are fun to do. So you should definitely use AI for all of this, but you should still be careful with what the output is. Another thing is like don't over complexify. I've seen so many projects using AI for writing documentation and stuff like this, and the documentation, I mean, like I don't know for you guys, but whenever I see a README that from a library that looks like this, I just don't want to use the library because it's like too much complex. I don't even know where to try and whatever to actually start to learn this library. So again, my flow as an AI skeptic is like you plan the feature yourself. You know what you're trying to archive. You know what the architecture you want to try to do. You know the data flows, the edge case. You never outsource thinking. You are the person who are in charge. You use AI for boilerplates. You use AI for serialization, data classes, UI, everything which is fast and low risk. Then in third, you will read and understand the output. So you basically never commit code. You can't explain in a review, because that's just how things getting messy in your code base later on. So basically, you are 100% sure that you understand the code. And if the AI created, like, I don't know, a function that is very complex for you, just ask the AI to maybe make it simpler. It's better to have a code which is like 300 lines longer, but like easier to understand, than having a code which is like maybe 100 line, but it's very complex and you cannot even modify later on. Again, you can use AI as a rubber duck for debugging. So you explain the bug, you paste the context, you paste the stack trace, you get hypothesis. So all of this way you basically have you understand what the bug might be, because maybe you just have like this big error, you don't understand exactly what can it where the bug can be in your code base. By sending all of these elements, the AI can help you say, oh, okay, the bug is probably in this file. It's maybe like about this function, something like this. Then you can take a look and understand what the issue is by yourself. But it's very you are gaining time by doing this. And then after, later on, you can write tests. Sure, AI is great for test job generation, but you should still review them manually. There is no point to having tests if the tests are nonsense, because AI makes them just pass, because you say, oh yes, the test doesn't pass, why have this error? And the AI is just modifying the test, so the test pass anyway. So you should just be careful about that. And lastly, I will speak about tool recommendation and takeaways. So of course, the first tool recommendation that I will have is basically just use the LLM of your choice. It doesn't matter. Don't get in the hype of like this model is better than this others, whatever. It does not matter, honestly. Just use Code if you have in Code. Use Gemini. Use ChatGPT. Use Codex. Use whatever you feel like it's good for you. That you have like a good context. You understand how the model is more or less working, because it's always very complicated to understand how the model is working. But basically, just use whatever you have. What is the cheapest or the best combination with your tools that you have around you? So yeah, just use whatever you have. But remember, again, because you're using the LLM of your choice, you should just, again, be careful with what I said before. So verify your but stay in your domain, and use it for acceleration only. And lastly, I will get to the tool that I use, and I'll present you one tool which called like NotebookLM. It's maybe not the best tool for coding, but it's an awesome tool for getting documentation and learning stuff. So I don't know if all of you know NotebookLM, but basically it's basically a tool that you upload documents, you give them URLs, you give them videos, and it basically summarizes all the documents. It basically answering question. It can even create podcast, infographic, mind maps, study guides, and even videos nowadays. I've seen it. So I will make a very quick demo of this, very quick. So I actually created some notebook just today. So it's this one. So I have a bunch of them. You see a bunch of them, and I have even more actually on my actually professional email. But on this one, for example, I've uploaded a few things. So I've actually just gave them the Women in Tech blog, and I also gave them a few screenshots. So a few screenshots. Oh, I'm sorry, I just have a. I'm actually in a sunny place. I don't even see what I'm actually trying to click on. But basically, there's a few, a few different kind of screenshot that I've put. So I've put them a screenshot of an email that we all received. I've put them on other screenshots with the agenda of today. And now what I've made is like they actually created a podcast for me, and maybe we can spend a few seconds on it. I hope you heard the sound. I'm not sure if you heard the sound, but I hope you can actually hear it. It's basically just a fun. You can hear it?
No, we didn't hear the sound.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know how to change that, so it doesn't matter. Whatever, it's just basically a 5 minutes kind of like podcast of what is like women in tech, and what is the goal with basically agenda today and everything. We're not going to listen to 5 minutes of basically a podcast, but that's very nice because, for example, whenever you receive a long email or any documentation, you can create the podcast from it, and that's pretty cool. And you can create a lot of different kind of things with videos and everything. I actually created a video. I didn't watch it alone, so we'll see together. Oh no, that's also a podcast. I'm sorry. That's a podcast and a video. I don't know if I can change this. Wait, let me check if I can like, put like a few. I'm sorry. It's very lively. Let's try to make this. Can you maybe hear it? Wait, that's not the right. Can you actually hear it now? Let me tell me. Do you
No,
hear it?
not
No?
from my side, unless anyone else can hear.
Maybe it's not working for it doesn't matter, but you can try it yourself. Basically, it's for free. It's actually a tool that actually is working for free, so you should all go on NotebookLM. Yes, it's a tool made by Google, but again, I'm just because I really like it. I use it a lot, for example, on different kind of a different user flow for me. For example, whenever in my job they told me like, okay, you have to integrate, I don't know, this tool into our product. I'm like, oh, I don't even know the tool, so I'm just googling about a few things about the tool. Like I can be okay, let's find the repository of the tool, let's find documentation of the tool, and I put all of them into the sources here, and then after I can ask question. So I don't even see here. Okay, but for example, you can type in and you can like ask question here and say, for example, like, hey, what should I use if I'm trying to integrate this functionality in my app. And what is great about this tool is that it's not just an AI, it's an AI that rely on your sources. So this is awesome simply because it does not hallucinate, or very, 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 very little hallucination, because it's only rely on the information that you gave them with the sources. So it's never going to tell you, oh yeah, use this function that is not actually existing. I think we all have been like using at some point ChatGPT or whatever tools you want, and it's like, oh yeah, use this function on this library, and the function never existed ever. And here it cannot happen simply because it's actually based on the documentation and also document that you put them here. I want to make another try. I'm sorry if you can see. I'm sorry, it's a very sunny place. I don't even see what I'm writing, but for example, again, I put them a few things about today events, and we can say, for example, hey, what's the agenda for today's event? And we'll see. It's very live example, so I hope it's going to work correctly. But maybe it will tell us, like, for example, what's the exactly. So it will tell us like, oh yeah, the event is basically mine. It's my presentation in first, and after we have Maureen's, and after we have Immaculate one, and that's awesome. And you can all of this because like it's rely on documentation that I have uploaded before, and that's really, really cool. And you can like go and like ask even more questions and stuff like this, and you can add little by little sources. And I think that's a really great tool of having like using AI without having basically all the hallucination and all the issues that goes with AI. And you are still the thinker. You are just using AI for acceleration. So again, NotebookLM, so it's based on information and data gathered on shared documents. There is a lower risk of hallucination, and there is no more context bottleneck, because the context is basically files that you can upload. So you can upload again videos, PDF, Word documents, whatever you feel like, and that's a very big game changer for me, again, for documentation and learning about topics that I don't have knowledge of, especially that you can have like them as podcast or anything, so you can just still listen to any, I don't know, any information that you don't know, but you can still make a resume about it before going to joining a meeting, and you can hear them as a podcast and still, like, I don't know, replying to emails or making work at the same time. So I think that's a really good tool for me. And secondly, I want to speak about Stitch, but actually I think that Maureen is going to speak about Stitch after. So I'm just going to skip about this one because I will make a very a 2-minute presentation about it. But I will tell you exactly what I like about it, and you can listen to the talk of Maureen that maybe going to cover a few of them. So Stitch is basically just a design tool where you can prompt any query and it turn it into a design. So I call it like a vibe design, kind of. You get very fast inspiration. You don't have to go on Dribble, stuff like this. You can get inspiration about like something that you really want. Maybe you want like, oh yeah, I want a fancy map with a few buttons that are integrated in the map, and it get created a very nice map, and you can get inspiration from it. That's very cool. You can see the generated design of different viewports. That's always useful. So you can see like iPad design, you can see mobile design, you can see web design. So that's very cool. And whenever you are satisfied with it, you can export everything to Figma. And even if you are like even more smarter, you can even like export your widget to Figma. And then after you can export from Figma to actually Dart and Flutter code. So you can go very fast this way. So where is it? So I'm not going to make a demo time again because I will make a very bad demo, and Maureen is covering this already. So I will let her handle this part for me. But just keep that in mind. Stitch, I think it's very awesome. If you do not have a designer in your team, it's very useful for proof of concept, placeholder, inspiration, and you can export widget to Figma. So I think that's a really nice tool, in my opinion. And I think that's pretty much all that I have to say today. I hope you enjoy. I hope you all learned something. I really hope so. And again, if you have any question, I'm open for it.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation, and I'll give it up to the audience. If you have a question, feel free to write it on the chat or just raise your hand to ask it right away. I have one question about the Notebook LM. Does it cover, like, if you have like several iteration of different notes, how does it actually work with conversion to the audio bit? Like, does it have to create like one combined podcast, or like one separate podcast for several parts? Yeah.
Yes, that's a very good question. For example, what I had recently is that I had like a PDF document that I had, and we made like a few exchanges with another company, and the PDF basically get changed a few times. And the way that I was making it for me is basically, if I go back to this one, for example, you could basically just, for example, oh yeah, I have like this screenshot, but it can be a PDF or whatever, and you could just like remove it, remove the sources, then basically the data that the NotebookLM is aware of is changed. Then you can basically just delete, for example, this audio or whatever. So you can delete the audio. Then after you can like basically regenerate an audio for it. You can have like whatever, like different kind of things. You can deep dive, whatever. It's different kind of instruction you want for the audio that you can create. Then you can recreate it, and this way it will basically have the update on all the data that you have uploaded it, because like the change basically a file, you can like remove file, you can upload new file, and basically the audio and all these little features here, they are only aware at the moment they're created. So if you change a file after the creation, you need to recreate the audio or recreate the video for it. Knowing that you will not have the exact same video of audio, because again it's created by AI, so you will maybe have like different kind of word that are being used. You will have maybe different kind of length of the audio or video that you will use. But yeah, you basically have to just recreate the video whenever you change a file, but it does not work the same for whenever you type in question here. So whenever you type question here, it's always up to date compared to whatever you have here as sources. I don't know if it answered your question. I hope so.
Yeah, sure. And also, like, finally, just a note, it would be really interesting if they add like a voice option, or instead of the typing.
Actually, yeah, I think that's actually a very good thing. Like you probably can have. There's a I know that there is actually like softwares that like just convert type voice into typing. So you could probably use that, but I agree that it will be like just nicer to be able to have like to directly integrate this. But it's still like a software which is like in experimental by Google. So this is why it's like still for free. You can all use it like for free nowadays. But it's been like more than a year and a half that it's for free. So you could all use it for, I think, like at least for the next 6 months to a year for free still, I guess. But yeah, I agree. It would be nice to have like this option.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. So to our dear audience, if you have a question, just feel free to write it on the chat, and then he would respond to you. And I believe he would also share these resources so that we will share with you afterwards to check them out.
Yeah.
Then up next, I see Immaculate requested to speak next immediately because she has an engagement after. So I'll give it up to you, Immaculate, to take over. Let me share this. So she's gonna... Yeah, she's gonna speak about charging your workflow, building with AI-powered IDs. So it's kind of building on to our first speaker's talk, and she's now going to take it over and do our talk about building with AI-powered IDs. So yeah, take it over, Immaculate.
Okay, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm actually at a pitch, an event on Stellar blockchain, so I'm supposed to be pitching in the next 30 minutes. So I'll just start. Hope you've had a wonderful afternoon. So let me share my screen. Can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So, okay. So supercharging your workflow with AI-powered IDE and agents. So my name is Immaculate Munda. I'm a software developer currently in the university, Jomo Kenyatta University, pursuing a bachelor's degree in mathematics and computer science. I also have a startup called Misfit. Body measurements by just uploading 3 photos after the guided instructions in the web to it. So in the age of AI, mostly we find that there are so many tools that that are there for developing and everything, and it's like so stack. Maybe your one stack, MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. So for the modern AI stack, we have the models, AG, we have ChatGPT, we have Cloud, we have Gemini and the rest, DeepSeek and the rest. Then harnesses. Harnesses are just the environments that actually configure how AI works really well. So let me just take a call quickly, please. Hello? Okay, just a minute. I was in a call for 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. So let's head straight to it. So the modern AI stack, we have the best IDEs for beginners. We have Casa and Windsurf. Casa is the one I usually use to just do my development. It usually has all the models that you can actually use. Let's say Grok, the latest Grok model that was released. We have Opus 4.8, we have Sonnet 5, we have GPT 5.5, and all the other models that are there. So we also have GitHub Copilot, which is also has like a free tier. If you have a student email, you can actually like configure that to your GitHub, then get actually free credits from there so that you can use in your development. So we have harnesses and IDE. As I had said, the harness actually detects how the AI interacts with your environment, right? So if you like have the best model, but your harness is just like not that of a good quality, it wouldn't like exploit that best AI model to the best of its capability. So some of the examples of harnesses, we have Open Code, Goose, Cloud Code Codex, and Devin. What they actually do is like collect all the other AI models and then supercharge it into your workflow. So what you'll be doing is when you have Cloud Code, you can actually like select models that will actually do your development. Then we have the IDE, that is Integrated Development Environment. This is actually where you work. That's the front. Just and the model then interact with your files, edit your code. That's basically what the IDE is for. Some of the examples we have Casa, Windsurf, and then the standard VA is called extensions. Okay. We have a bit of, okay. So choosing your provider, I'll just, we have NVIDIA name. Okay, that's one of the free models to like do for the harness, right? Then the drawbacks, it's usually rate limited a lot. So we have also Open Router. You can access almost every model per token price. So they usually charge per token you use, right? Then we have Kaiser, the native one. It usually hosts all the models and you will do a subscription, the cheapest being $20. Then you proceed to the other subscription, which is $60. It usually has some really nice models and not that rate limited. So then you have OpenAI and Anthropic. You have like direct API access to their best models. Okay, so we get to picking the right model. So we see that Cloud 3.5 Sonnet actually has a higher thinking capacity than the rest, and also as compared to GPT 4.0, DeepSeek Coda, and Llama 70B. Then AI agents in IDEs. So we are currently setting up our environment. We are in the IDE, let's say VS Code or Casa, right? So previously we used to do AI agents. Okay, AI just did autocomplete, right? So you write your code, then let's say a function like Python define school. So that is basically what AI used to do previously, but now it can actually like perform your tasks autonomously. So let's get to it. We have some types of agent, the planning agent. That is when you want to like actually outline your tasks, get like the right components in there, the right architecture for the code you want to write and the solution you want to build, right? So then we have the debugging agent. It usually reads terminal outputs, then just passes through your code to see the errors that are there, then actually debug for you, right? Then you have the multitasking agent. This is where you can assign a specific agent to do the front end for you. Then we have another agent assigned to do the back end, then another for the DevOps, then another debugging, then another agent planning. So it's just doing all the tasks at once instead of letting one task finish, then the other one to proceed. So we have then tokens and context limits, right? In the current age of AI, so you see the models that we have previously looked at, and the AI models. We have IDEs and everything. So we have something called tokens. Tokens is how the artificial intelligence in itself actually like understands natural language, right? So if we have like, my name is Immaculate, you'll find that mine is maybe one token, name another token, Immaculate, maybe it's broken down into two. So we have like 4 tokens in there. That's like the layman low-level overview of what a token is. So context limits are just, let's say, a brain in the AI agent. So we have you planning the code, writing it, and debugging it. So that context is just how the agent understands what we are doing in there. And yeah, so we have context limits. Most of the AI agents usually have a context limit of 200,000 tokens per context, so you can actually refresh it, or when you notice that the context is about to like get exhausted, you can actually like summarize what you've been doing through and through, then paste it in another chart, and then we have new context with summarized context from what we were doing before. Okay, so we have prompting and workflows. So the best prompting practices, we have our AI agents, right? And then we have the temperature, that is the level of thinking. We have high, low, and medium, right? So if you want to do research, we want to build a solution, right? We have to do research first. So you don't need to like choose an expensive model like Opus to do thinking or to do reasoning, right? Then for planning, now we've looked at sources, we know actually what we want to build, so we want to just plan the architecture. So here is when you actually use the expensive models to actually like architecture your code really well, so that we can have you planning the best approach to before writing the code. So that we have the actual coding. Now we have researched, we have planned, we now have a high level architecture of the solution. So then we have the coding, which is medium. You just use a medium thinking ability. Yeah, thinking ability for that. And also we have security review, expensive, right? We have built our solution. We don't want people breaking in and causing downtime. We don't want people breaking in. So for security review, we are recommended to like use the best, most expensive AI models. So for your security, so that to ensure that we don't have security breaches in our product, right? So we get on to writing the actual prompt. We are actually now planning, so you don't have to. Here is when you can just talk freely with it and have like a conversation with it, so that it actually understands what you want and the output you want. So actually, most of the time, I usually like talk to Gemini. Then after that, I can paste what I talked into my IDE. Then we just plan it. Yeah. So the successful workflow on how to utilize the IDEs to the best of its capabilities. We have the research, where an example is what host functions exist, investigate libraries and how they work. So they use a cheap model for that. Then after researching, we head on to planning, design the interface only, do not write implementation code yet. So this is where we want to like get into the high level architecture of what we are building, right? So use an expensive model for that. Then we have the detailed plan, design testing in detail, write unit tests so that when we give the AI agent a task to do and you want it to like work autonomously, write unit tests so that if one of the unit tests fail, we have it through in a loop. So we actually like write the code and ensure that the unit tests actually pass so that we can actually know that the code is actually okay. So yes, then we have code now. After writing unit tests, we then implement the functionalities until every test passes, just as I had explained. So I think I'm done with my presentation. I'm so sorry I couldn't do a demo video. I had like double booked. So I'll share the resources. I had the resources later and also other tools that I use in my workflow. So I am done.
Thank you so much for your presentation and taking us through what we need to have in mind, especially with the IDs, the models, and different types of agents. So to our audience, if you have a question, feel free to write for her in the chat so that she can see it before she actually leaves. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with us. And it's really cool. I would love to see your demo. Maybe you can share your GitHub repo. We can check it out later. Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. So any question from the audience? Otherwise, I would call out one person. Rose, do you have a question for her?
I don't have a question, but I had a question for the first speaker. Maybe I will write it down. There is something that he spoke about, and I could not understand it well.
Yeah, feel free to write it down or just ask right away. But thank you so much, Immaculate, for your presentation and all the best for your pitch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. So I will take over the screen as Rose is formulating her question. Just so I will share my screen once again. Okay, thank you so much all for staying patient with us until right now. So my presentation is more about rapid user interface prototyping with Google Stitch, which Enzo gave a brief preview of what it is. And if you're new here, my name is Maureen Josephine. I'm the founder of Tambua Women in Tech, which is a platform that celebrates women across the globe, give them shout outs for the good work they're doing. And we currently have this Build with AI series in partnership with GDGKC and Flutter Kisumu. I'm also a Google developer expert in Flutter and Dart. And today I'm mostly focusing on the UI side using the Google Stitch. But one question to my audience, how many are designers? I'm not a designer, but I'm curious to know how many are UX, UI designers with us today. Anyone? Any designer? Hidaya, you look like you are a designer, no? No. Okay, you're not a designer. So there's literally no designer here today. So we are free to do whatever we want to do with our designs. So I'm gonna take you through if what you need to do with Stitch, especially if you are a developer, business owner, consultant, and you have this awesome app idea that you wanna build and you don't know where to start from. So I would start from here. Yeah, so there's this black canvas syndrome, which everyone who is a non-designer always faces, because I believe majority of us have gazillions of ideas. Every time you wake up, an idea clicks, and with the era in the era of AI, you feel like you are the best developer in the world and you want to create it. But now the problem comes from actually creating the prototype. Where do you start from if you have nowhere to start from? I have zero skills on Figma. I actually started learning about Figma a few years ago when I was starting to code. But my problem was I felt like it wasn't giving me like the satisfaction in terms of like moving from one point to another, especially designing from scratch in Figma. So that was my challenge as a developer. I was very impatient to see all the pieces come together and also like put the components together. Like I know what I want, but I don't know how to put it out there. I don't know if that makes sense, but I had that problem. So I decided UX UI design is not gonna be my thing. And I decided to focus more on the engineering side. But thank God, now we have some tools for this because sometimes you have an idea, you sketch it, and you don't know, okay, so where do you go from here? And in the normal world, before AI became much more common use, especially to us end consumers, we would have an idea, and in a team where you have like a cross-functional team with the UI designers, they would sketch the idea, create the wireframes, and create high fidelity designs before handing over to developers. But now what happens if you are a solo developer or just a business owner who wants to make your app to reality? So where do you start? Here comes the Messiah. So the problem that we usually have is like thinking too much. I have several ideas that I want to make come to life, but the thing is like having all those ideas without putting them down onto a sketch is really difficult if you have zero direction, because as engineers we also ask, okay, where do you start? What should the screen look like? Is this UX good enough? Does it follow the right standards? Can I prototype this before writing the code? And that's where now Google Stitch comes in. And I would love to ask how many have interacted with Google Stitch before, or this is the first time you are hearing about Google Stitch. Just feel free to write it on the chat. Yeah, I think that's the question to the previous speaker. But how many of us have actually used Google Stitch? Or if you have never heard of it, you're hearing it for the first time, feel free to write on the chat. Google Stitch is actually Google Labs AI-powered design environment built on multimodal Gemini engines that converts the natural language, sketches, or screenshot into a functional multi-screen UIs. So it means that you can use it without any Figma expertise, no design background. You just need to describe your idea. And I see some people from our call today haven't used Google Stitch before. Ennis Maxwell, and also Cheryl. So it's your first time. Yeah, so don't worry. This is actually a nice starting point if you want to design something from scratch. So I'll show you how it looks like and how it actually works. I have 2 prompt examples that I would love us to use and build it. So because I didn't want us to take a lot of time, I created like GitHub gists for these prompts for us to use them so that it doesn't take a lot of time to load. So my idea, I have 2 ideas. One is creating a smart farm management platform. So you are an aspiring farmer, or you're actually a farmer, and your farm uses some smart farm techniques that you want to employ in your farm. I've been a farmer before. I've planted watermelons, and I can assure you it has been hectic. It was hectic, especially tracking the seasons, the right seasons, the right amount of fertilizer to put, when is the last, when should you harvest your watermelons. And for watermelons case, I was planting them in Kenya. It usually takes 90 days. So it means you have to have like a manual notebook to remind you of, okay, what should we do this week? What should we do next week? So if I had this opportunity back then when I was actually planting watermelon from scratch, I would have actually prompted an app for it. And so today it's just a general smart farm management platform to manage like the seeds and everything. And I'll stop sharing this for a bit and take you through the actual GitHub gist that I have for this. So one thing that you need to do is like, it's important to already predefine your prompt so that you have like minimal iterations to ask Stitch beforehand. So I'll show you what I have. This is, I'll just present the entire screen too. Yeah. So a GitHub gist is just like a place where you can add like short form code if you're seeing this for the first time. So you can simply just create a new gist. Here I'm putting it in form of Markdown. Let me maximize. Yeah. And then this is just a smart farm management platform. So what I want to ask Google Stitch is to actually develop a UI prototype for me to be able to proceed with my management platform. And what I want, so like we learned in our previous prompt engineering sessions, it's good to add like much more descriptive prompts so that it doesn't like do something that you don't want or hallucinate on the way. So in this case, I wanted something minimalistic using a dark theme. So my description is design a modern responsive web app for a smart farm platform that helps farmers and agronomists and farm managers monitor and manage agricultural operations in real time. So yes, how did I come up with the prompt? So it's actually a really long prompt. My answer is I asked Gemini to come up with this prompt for me so that I don't have to take a long time to write it on Stitch. So I just asked Gemini to come up with this prompt for me that is much more descriptive, that describes the developing a smart farm management platform, includes the target users who are farmers, farm managers, agronomists, and then the dashboard overview. It should also display the weather conditions, crop health summary, soil level, moisture level, and also the KPIs. So one thing I learned about farming when I was planning my watermelon is the type of soil is really important. You cannot plant watermelon anywhere or everywhere. So you also have to check, does the soil retain too much water, or is it like a completely dry land? So means that you have to pump water constantly, because watermelons need a lot of water to maintain their growth, mostly at the beginning of your planting seasons. But now, okay, so how do you want to make sure that the weather condition is actually good when you're going on? So you want to keep on measuring monitoring the weather, make sure that it has the right temperature, the rain probability, humidity as well. Because I also noticed, like, towards the end of watermelon growth, because it takes 90 days. So by 60 days, you need to make sure that there's less water in your farm. So means that, okay, so how do you regulate this? You regulate this by knowing what's the right season to plant watermelon. So for this weather monitoring, we would have to keep a note on that, and also the crop health monitoring. So this is like for the health of the crop itself. So in this case, the watermelon, there are some small insects that usually come to eat the seedlings. So that's the very crucial part, especially at the beginning of your growth. So you need to be really keen on this. So you need these health indicators. That's why I added this. And also irrigation management, like I said, to make sure that there is water control throughout. And soil also, like the soil pH really is okay. So you need to talk to an agronomist before planting, and also to check the soil temperature, the nutrient level, which is really important. Some of us like overlook this, but if you want like the best, then you need to do this. And then the farm up. So this is where I did a bad mistake when planting a watermelon. So I plant it in between sugarcane. So anyone in Kenya knows, like, sugarcane is like one of our key crops that we grow, especially in the western region, Nyanza. So I planted watermelon in between a sugarcane farm. But the problem is, like, sometimes these sugarcanes get burnt by just random people. So it means that the security of it becomes a key thing to check. So you need to add this farm up. That's why I added it. And I added like an AI powered insights, the farm equipment, reports, notifications, and navigation, and all that. So I'll share this gist so that you have like an overview of how it is. And I'll just copy what we have today and head over straight to Stitch. So if you're seeing this for the first time, let me hide this so that you don't see my secret projects. So if you're seeing Stitch for the first time, this is actually how it looks. So you just need to search Stitch dots with google.com. It's just easy, or you can just Google Stitch with Google. It's easy to get it. And so here, what I love about Stitch is it also had the like voice option. So here, if we had enough time in the world, we could use the voice option to just prompt via voice, and then it shows like the live preview. The challenge with this is it doesn't detect the accents, especially if you have like a heavy accent or a different accent, it's struggling to understand and iterate this. So this is something that they can actually improve on, or they need to train this model with several accents so that it like gets it on the go. But you can also use this. So in this case, I'm gonna use the default high quality designs 3 Flash, high quality designs in HTML with Gemini 3. And then we are also gonna try to export to a coding agent. You can ideate, redesign, and think with 3.1 if you wanna use that. So in this case, I'll just paste whatever I had from my gist, and I would select the native mobile app. You can also check the web, but in this case, I just want an app. Also, something good about Stitch is you can upload like a file. So you can, maybe if you have a wireframe already set, you can just upload it and ask it. And also something interesting I discovered is you can actually draw by hand a sketch, and then Stitch would translate it into a nice UI design. So that's a homework for you to go and try later. But yeah, so today let's do this. So this is the prompt that I've copied for the farm management platform. It might take a while. So here we go. It's on thinking mode. The wordings are really small. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's still on the thinking mode. And it's also going to use the design that I asked it, because I said green here. The design requirements, yes, dark green primary palette with these colors. I want rounded curves with soft shadows. So you just describe everything that you want. And then Stitch is at work. You see it's using the design palettes. Yes, it's free and it's on beta at the moment. So you can test it the way as you wish still, and also provide feedback to Google in case you have any suggestions or ideas. But at the moment, it's still free unless it was changed, and I don't know. Yeah, so it's the primary color is green, so as you can see, and it's using this. I could have asked it further, like be specific with my location that I want for this, but in this case, I just want like a general overview of everything. And you see, it's like really cool working on these precisions, the fields, the weather. So at the moment, it's still doing its job. And I actually like the update right now because you can actually see what it's actually doing. Like if you can see how the cursor moves and how it's actually designing from screen to screen, pixel to pixel, which is interesting. And the homepage would be here, the crops, irrigation, the weather, and the profile would be there as well, the air quality. So you can define these as much as you want. But for now, for your first iteration, this is okay for us today. And it's still designing it different skill, different overview and all. Also, one thing that you need to know is like, in case if you want a navigation, just be specific about it for it to create like a left sidebar navigation for farms, crops, irrigation, soil, weather reports, insights, and everything. Yeah, so it would literally design everything that you want. Just like we said in our prompt session last week, the other week is like AI does what you ask it to. And if you ask the right question to it, then it will do the right thing that you want. So here, okay. So it's actually done. How do you think it looks? It's actually done, which is so nice. So it would ask, so how do you like to proceed? We could build out the soil monitoring section or machinery management or whatever. But at this point, we don't want to refine it further. We just want to see how it actually looks from scratch. So as a developer, also developing my side projects, I've actually heavily relied on Stitch to do the design work for me instead of doing it from scratch. And I really love this view. So how to preview this. There's like several ways that you can check it out. You can check the mobile view. If you check the mobile view, this is how it would look. Let me zoom in this. So the mobile view would be this. And I also like how it has been improved for the responsiveness, because before, like, it was like narrowing down to the mobile view, but like some texts were having an overlay, but right now you can clearly see that it's leaving room for scroll. So you can scroll down to see like, okay, how does it actually look on mobile? And then same to here, if I want to preview these on tablet, this is the tablet view for it. And you can actually scroll again and see like how it looks like. Because of that, I would really sort back to this mobile view. Yeah, same to here, the irrigation management section. It has like literally everything that we asked it to develop. But okay, so the tablet view, we've seen the tablet view. I'll go back, and then, so for you to use it, you just click and then check the preview, the full height. So the desktop view would also look like this. And you see like it automatically resets this to a desktop view with a left side navigation. So you can have like the stuff on the left side compared to on the mobile view, it had them at the bottom navigation. So it's literally following the material design component, the material design components like standards, so that on the desktop it changes this to this view, which is really cool. And I would go back to mobile for now, and same to this. So how do you proceed from here after having like a wonderful designs like this? So you either, like Enzo mentioned before, you can export this to Figma or export it to any of your coding agents that you'd love to use. So I'll just quickly show you how to export this to AI Google AI Studio that we actually learned last week. Hidayah taught us that in the previous session. So if you are totally new to this, you just need to just check it out today. You'd go and learn later. So for the export, you can write, you can click all of them, the one that you want to export. So in this case, I want to export all of them. So just copy all, and then click the export button. So here you can export to Google AI Studio, Figma, MCP, Netlify, Lovable, Bolt. It's so nice that now Bolt is available here. I didn't see it here before. And then you can stitch React app. Like there's like gazillions of options. But since I don't use Figma today, I'm just going to use AI Studio. And then I come here at the bottom and build with AI. So when I'm here, if you're seeing this for the first time, this is just the Google AI Studio that allows you to build projects based on Google models. So you see the sections that I selected here. This is what I've exported here. So they are exported as images like this. And I'm not going to change what it's asked. So because it has like all the information that I want, so I would just send build with the default information. They build me an app with screens that look like this. You cannot link images from the HTML that we already have here. So just click build. And let's see if it doesn't take too much time, because we are almost done. And it's thinking. Still generating. Okay, so in the meantime, I would go ahead and show you one for the previous prompt that I also wrote before, but since it's long, I'm just going to show you the result of it. So this was like for a construction project management, especially if you're building and you want to know like tracking the progress, how much you've used, financial costs, project planning, materials, and everything. So like I said before, the process is the same. You start by asking, it's easy when you already have the right prompt. So just ask ChatGPT, Gemini to come up with this prompt for you with everything that you want. And then you just copy all these and paste it to Stitch, and then Stitch would do the work. So the project is still building. It's asking me to select a design. I don't want an editorial view. Yeah, maybe this would be good for us for now. And then I'll select it. Okay, so like I wanted to show you the previous project. So let me just copy this and go back here. This. So this was like the previous construction management project. I don't know why it automatically assumed I am Mike, but it said, hello, Mike. So that's one thing that you need to add it. Here it should be hello username, so like the current user. And then it would do whatever you want. So that's also where the prompting comes in. But I really didn't like this design as much compared to the first design. Let me just paste the previous design here so that we have it. Yeah, I didn't really like this design, and it had some issues as well with overlay. You see, like the numbers were overlapping each other. So you need to, this means that we need to reiterate over these designs to make sure that this mistake doesn't occur, especially if the numbers are longer. So that's one problem with this. And also, I just don't like the vibe of this. So probably what could have been done better is to define the design requirements even much more better, because we only said clean topography with generous spacing, but we didn't really specify how the shape of the cards should look like and all that. As unlike here, where we literally said the cards should be rounded with soft shadows, should be modern, responsive, plenty of white space for readability and professional readability. And we also were keen on a minimalistic UI, unlike here, which we just gave it a modern software as a service style interface without like the key features for it. So this is how it looked for this, which is not bad, especially if you are not a designer. It can still work, but it can be better. And then our Google AI Studio is still generating the app. I think it will take some time. Let's give it some more time. But as we wait, feel free to ask any questions at the moment. Any idea that comes to mind when you see this? Is it magic? I actually felt it was magic the first time I used Stitch. I was so happy. Especially as somebody who is not a designer, I felt like, yeah, I can actually do anything. I have all the power in my hands to finish everything that I want in the world. Yeah, and also for this procurement, one thing I'm keen on like learning further, especially with these Stitch projects. You see, like right now, it has the UI like this. My problem with this is like, if you iterate over this design, for example, it would create like a whole new flow for this, which I feel like for me as a developer, I just want this screen to be fixed, not the entire designs. and I can show you how it would look like when we want to change that. Because it's like, okay, it's good for a start, but like when it's iterating over, it creates like a completely new overview for this, which I feel it's not good unless anyone has like a better idea on how to navigate that. Yeah. Yo, this thing is taking forever. It's still generating the app. Okay, so in the meantime, maybe Cheryl, is there an app that you'd want to create its UI design? Do you have anything in mind at the moment? Feel free to write on the chat if you can't speak. But anyone who has an idea, yeah, so she says a mental wellness app. Would you like to speak about it? Mental health is really key, so I think that would be a nice app idea to check out, and also see what people have out there as well. So on the left side, on the left panel, you can see what's actually going on. So you see it says that I've successfully built this agro precision and the aesthetic visual theme for this color, interactive dashboard, the crop, monitoring section, and the weather analytics section, which is nice, but it's just taking too much time. Let's see how long it takes in the end. Anyone else, any nice app idea that you're actually currently working on or you'd love to work on? Yes, Rose.
Okay, I was thinking of like maybe having a way whereby it's easy accessible for people around to get, like maybe let us say in Kenya, to be able to access sanitary pads. So maybe to create something that can, yeah, something that it can be easier for them.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good idea because I think that's one of the issues we as girls face, especially in the marginalized areas. I think that would be a cool idea. Especially, I remember back in high schools or something, we used to have these opportunities for like organizations sending the sanitary towels to schools, but our teachers were stealing them still. Like it's like free, but they would still take some of them. They are meant for like the girls. They need to be actually free, but some people were still taking them and denying us the opportunity. So I feel like this would be a really cool idea, especially the northeastern part of Kenya or other sections in Kenya which are really less marginalized with less opportunities and less resources. So having this, would you like it to like have a map, or how would the people like know?
Sorry, I did not hear.
Yeah, so for this sanitary app, like would you incorporate a map, or how would they learn about the spots to pick up the sanitary towels?
Yeah, like the spots someone can pick it up, like maybe sanitary pads bank. So like someone can just know the location where you can just go and pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are available, the availability. So it can be a great idea if we come up with something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be easy accessible everywhere in Kenya. Yeah. Because right now a lot of people are using digital, a lot of people are using their phones. So it can be a good idea.
Yeah. Nice. You can make it come to life.
It's just something that I thought of. I thought about it.
Yeah. Okay. So right now we are at 5:42 seconds. Just a general question for people who use Google AI Studio. I think Hidaya used Google AI Studio last time. Does it take this much time usually?
Okay, it depends on the whatever you've attached to it. If it's image, at times it takes longer, but if it's just a prompt, it takes a relatively shorter time.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I asked the same prompt before this demo, and it took lesser time. So maybe I can check in like the exact prompt that I used last time. Let me just copy this and see so that it can reduce our wait time. But in the meantime, let's have this here. Okay, so I found the previous one, which was 2 hours ago. So I'm just gonna share the preview of it for us to see how it looked like. Let me switch back to this. Yeah, so this is like the same prompt we prompted. I think here it took 464 seconds last, but the other one it's still running, but it's still making sense. So yeah, ideally this is what we want to see in the end. So this is our design, and since like in this case I wanted like a dark green with this theme on the web, it shows this way because I chose like this mode for the preview of this web version. So this is actually how it looks. And it's interesting that Google AI, on the Google AI Studio, it has developed the app itself. So we can see like the dashboard, we can see alerts, the main pump, soil moisture, the current temperature, the fields. So this is important, especially if you're planting in different regions, the water, the weather, which is like really nice. I don't know which location it's using here, but it's probably just a random location. So this is key, especially if you you are planting something, maybe maize, watermelon, or whatever, so that you can just have this view. And thinking of it, I'm actually gonna build this for use back home because we do a lot of farming, and it would be nice for my people back home to actually use this instead of like, okay, tomorrow it's gonna rain and then tomorrow it doesn't rain, or there's too much water today and it's completely dry the next day. So yeah, I think I can proceed with this and share with all the farmers I know from my rural area that, hey, we have a new cool app that does this. Yeah, but this is what we wanted to do in the end, like to be able to showcase this. And if you want to see the code, you can just check what does it actually have? So this is also important, especially before you deploy this, make sure that it has the right things that you want, and it also doesn't share like important secrets, especially if you're pushing this to GitHub. So like we learned last time where we did like an actual publishing of an app. Today, I'm not gonna publish it today, but we will publish it next Saturday to do like a full end-to-end deployment, like from vibe coding to the final flow of it. But let me go back and see how our progress. Oh yeah, it's done. It's finally done. So this is what we were asking before, and it used the dark mode. And I actually prefer this dark mode than the light one. But all of them look nice. And yeah, so that's it from my side. And I would love to take questions from you guys. Thank you so much for your patience. I know it's a Saturday and we all have somewhere to go. And you took your time to come spend with us. So any questions for now? Yeah, I'll share these on the screen. I'll share the gist with you guys later, and it's just these 2 lines so that you can just check. This is what we checked today. The landing page, the dashboard, the screens, and iterating and exporting the designs. So that's it from me today. However, the prompt took too much time on the Google AI Studio to actually actualize it. So thank you so much anyways. And feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, or whatever, and then we can catch up later. But yeah, that's all from me today. And we would end it here. I think we're still in time anyways. So we have 15 minutes to go. So I would stop sharing and share our final screen of the day. Sorry, I'm looking up because of my external screen, so don't mind that. Yeah, so is it possible to share the presentation? Do you mean the slides for each? Okay, yeah. Yeah, we would share all the presentation slides for today from like Enzo, Immaculate, and myself, and also include all the necessary links that you'd need. And that's it for today. The next time we'll be building simple AI projects. And next week we'll be having only 2 speakers because it would be like a long demo sessions by 2 speakers. So we will limit it to only 2 speakers unless otherwise. But it's more all about like building simple AI projects so that, you know, like, okay, we've learned about the basics, we've learned about how to prompt, we've learned about how to create your designs, but how now do you go like from end to end, like from the 0 level knowledge to actually building something, to deploying it, to sharing with us your deployed app, and to making sure people use it. So this is where we are going to do the building simple AI projects. And then on the final week, we're going to have like 1 week break because it has been intensive every week. We would have 1 week break, and then the following week in August 8th, we would have a showcase. So this is open to all audience. We won't have a speaker. It would be more like a pitching session where if you have an app that you are currently building or that you've built before, you just share with us for 5 minutes and show us like what does the app do, what you're looking for to do with the app, so that we can also give you feedback or just see interesting things you're currently building. So the final season, it's mostly all about like whatever you're working on. There won't be a speaker, so it would be freestyle open mic. And we would put up like a brief link so that we get like your details if you want to present. And yeah, that's it. I think Sabiha is asking, would the prompt be included? As I missed it. Yes, so the prompt I added was more like a GitHub gist. It's shareable, so I would share it as part of the resources as well. So that would be it for the next 6 weeks. But I would love to appreciate you all for taking your time to be with us in this journey from the very beginning. Some of us had no idea about what agents are, what AI APIs were, what like the simple terminologies were, like the context window, the tooling and everything. The NotebookLM that we just learned today. So it's a pleasure having these sessions here today, and we really appreciate your time and energy for being with us all through till now. And you could be somewhere drinking, like we always say, and enjoying yourself with family, but you chose to use your 2 hours Saturday to check it out. I know some people are not able to make it today, but we will share the recording and all the links. Yes. So kindly share the prompts you used to develop the structured prompt. So you're asking about the prompt that I asked to share the prompt that I used to ask the prompt that prompted the prompt. Yeah, the final prompt. Yeah, I'll share that. So one thing that you need to do, I actually have an article, how I use teach. Yeah, so it describes actually what to include in your prompts. So you can just check it out at your own free time. But yeah, I would share that as well, so that like it can help you generate better prompts. But thank you so much for today. I don't want to take any more of your time, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and see you next week, hopefully. Yes. So thank you all and have a nice Saturday. Bye.